Hey guys, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV for my post-match reaction to Chelsea beating Manchester United 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Marco Correa gets on the end of an absolutely artistic assist by Reece James. It couldn't have been more perfect. 1-0, not a pretty performance, frustrated us once again, but the 3 points just overarch every little negative bit in that game. So yeah, happy days here. As you can see, I'm not at Stamford Bridge today, guys. I've missed the last home game of this season, but unfortunately just couldn't go. And yeah, but it means that we can talk about the game here. Where to start? Because, I mean, emotions ran high, both, again, like I said, positives and negatives throughout that game, because I think we set up pretty expected. Maybe I was surprised that Lavia was dropped out of the lineup, and of course Chalobah was too, but the lineup pretty much picked itself. Other than that, like, who else are we going to start? Jackson obviously out, not an option because of his red card moment, and it just meant that Tyreek George was handed his first full start. Yeah, we'll talk about like the players and stuff and what I thought of individual performances, but you know, overall, I think we got the job done. It was tricky, yes, but Manchester United gave us the leeway and allowed us to do that because they had their moments. And why on earth do they always think that they can lose 18 games or whatever it is in the league and then they can come and have a good go against Chelsea and just, you know, put their bad form aside and give us a game? And that is exactly what I was worried about, you know, before this, because no matter like how many times people want to say, oh, it's a great time to play Man United, they look at us and think it's a great time to play Chelsea and rock up and turn up against them. Like, I don't get it. It's football works in funny ways sometimes, but purely because of that, I just didn't really think this would be a straightforward game, in terms of, not that I was scared to play Manchester United, but I just thought, you know, they're going to have something. When we went to Old Trafford, it was, again, a good time to play Man United, yet we made them look so good that day and we had to fight our way to get an equaliser to take a point away. Stamford Bridge last season, we all remember the drama that unfolded and how we were cruising 2-0 up and then suddenly had to, at the death, win it in the 100th minute. So, yeah, it wasn't it wasn't easy, and it seems again in the first half today that was going to be emulated. Players struggling to get into the groove of things. We seem to have no rhythm. I didn't know what the game plan was on the ball, off the ball. We just couldn't seem to string passes. And Manchester United were just well in for it. They obviously set up pretty strong as well, which some Man United fans, judging by the discourse online, were pretty unhappy to see. But I just thought, from a managerial perspective, you know, you've got 5 days left till the final. Regardless of your form, you are a club with the big status of Manchester United. You're playing Chelsea. Historically, this is a very massive game for both clubs. Yes, historically, one isn't 16th going into this one, but, you know, regardless, you want to have a good go and at least get the players believing, have a bit of confidence heading into that final next week. So it didn't surprise me that he set up as strong as he did, at least just for a little bit of pride and dignity, just to have a good go. And again, United should have enough quality. They don't, obviously, but should have enough quality to put out a strong lineup and then to also trust and bank on those players to perform in the Europa League final next week. But obviously things are very, very different at this current moment in time. But yeah, so I thought, you know, a bit of a shambolic start from us. And United obviously got a goal through Harry Maguire. It was ruled offside, to our luck and to their dismay, because, again, they were pretty happy. And, you know, it's bad when, even after it getting ruled off and at 0-0, they're celebrating and enjoying it, and we're kicking ourselves in the teeth because this is not what we set out to do. And with right, because it wasn't what we set out to do. You know, this is a team that is supposed to be fighting with every might to get themselves back into the Champions League. And unfortunately, we don't have many lives left yet. So every game well, I say every game, these last 2 games we all knew were no if buts or maybes, were absolutely must win games. So it was absolutely crucial that we rock up and perform, and we didn't. We just didn't look like we were performing at all in that first half. So yeah, it was very, very disappointing. And at half time we were just like, well, does this team even deserve Champions League football by the way we're playing? Really, you know, and rightfully so. It just seemed like Caicedo had acres of space in midfield and he was driving the ball up, and then it just seemed like we couldn't make anything of that. Nothing followed. Simple as that. Our wingers were shut out from the game. Even anytime Neto and Madueke had the ball, like, yeah, it just seemed to be a waste, because, I mean, Madueke could have easily been the one to open the scoring, actually, because he had a great chance set up by Cole Palmer, if you guys remember, from the right flank into the left, and he had a great opportunity to break the deadlock then, but he didn't, did he? And there was another chance later in the second half where, again, he didn't finish his dinner. So actually, if Cucurella hadn't put that goal away, we would have been sitting here probably criticising Noni Madueke a lot more in this game, because he could have ultimately cost us. And he is now supposed to be one of the more reliable players in this team, because he's now had a lot of games. He has had more time, yet there he is not finishing those chances that ultimately at the end of the day could really cost you in qualifying for the Champions League. So overall I thought it was a bit disappointing and disjointed, like our connection from midfield into our attack. And then that kind of brings me on to Tyreek George, who I do feel sorry for him. I do pity the player, because I thought he was totally out of his depth, and he just barely even had any touches, really, did he? Apart from potentially winning a penalty, which really wasn't a penalty, what else did he really do? And again, that's not to blame the player, because he's 19, and I'm not going to sit here and criticise a 19-year-old who is just supposed to enjoy his football and get a cameo here and there, not be handed a full start because we have no other options when we are desperate to secure Champions League football, because our other sole out and out number 9 got himself suspended for a silly red card. So again, that's probably not even on the players, that's on poor planning from the directors and poor planning from how thin our bench is. Like, look how much money we spent, and look at our bench today in our penultimate game of the season with so much at stake. This is our bench, guys. Just let that settle for a moment. We had 2 goalkeepers on that bench. If I'm not mistaken, was there even another forward sat on that bench? I don't actually think so. So that tells you everything you need to know. How we got to this stage, like, how are we playing our penultimate game against Manchester United with this much pressure on this game, and that's our bench? So of course that was poor planning. That's why this transfer window is going to be absolutely huge, and we are going to trust and just hope that better decisions are made and meaningful decisions are made, because we really need to strengthen. It's all fun getting to the Champions League. We're getting there. We're going to need some actual good additions. So yeah, guys, let's get to the fun bit, and the bit that actually made us kind of forget and forgive just for today. Of course, an absolutely moment of brilliance produced by Reece James. A great turn. He literally sends Garnacho bye-bye away. And it's just a fantastic, beautifully weighted scoop over. And who else is on the end but Marc Cucurella, who is just this great aerial threat these days. Give him the golden boot. I mean, 5 league goals, and he just loves himself a header. Arguably the shortest player in the team comes crashing in and shows everyone how it's done. Puts in a beautiful ball. And honestly, in these instances, you have to ask yourself, what's better, the setup or the finish? Both equally as good. But yeah, Reece James, what a clutch player. That's a captain. That's a quality player. That is someone that turns up in a game where he understands what is at stake. And then he's just edging the fans on, edging the crowds on, and we are absolutely thrilled to get the 3 points. At the end, I was just like, please blow the full-time whistle. I don't want to see anymore. Let's get this done. Let's get these 3 points, because we have Nottingham Forest awaiting us at the very end in just 8 days now, actually. So there you go. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already. Check out my personal channel as well, Nina's Chelsea Corner, which will be linked in the description and in the title most likely. But take care of yourselves, guys. Have a great weekend, and we will see you very, very soon.